Hey everyone! Attracting the right people into your audience is just so much more important than how many people you attract in. So today I wanted to share with you what my thoughts are on this and a few of the most biggest mistakes that I see entrepreneurs making with how they're marketing and the content they're putting out there, which means that they are attracting people into their audience, but they're not the right people. So first of all, let's talk about why the right people is more important than how many people. Because there's a lot of discussion out there about know, like, and trust. You know, we have to build an audience, you've got to get known, and then get them to like you and trust you so that they buy. And yes, that is correct. That is absolutely what you need. However, it's really important about who those people actually are. Because if you've built a big audience, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are the right buyers for you. So what we're talking about here is being a lot more strategic about specifically who is it that you really need to have in your audience so that they do turn into buyers, so that not all of your effort on getting them in there in the first place is in vain, is wasted effort. I have seen influencers out there on Instagram with hundreds of thousands of followers, but they don't sell anything, or they can't sell anything. And the reasons behind that is because they haven't been focused on who it is that they're attracting in. They've just been going for mass volume. So trying to appeal to a really generic, broad audience to get lots of people into their audience so that they become an influencer, but who are they really influencing? People are potentially following them because it might be entertaining. This person might have some fun things or interesting images. Maybe it's inspirational. Maybe they share photos that, you know, look nice on the feed that you think, oh, I like looking at their stuff because it makes me feel good. That doesn't mean that I want to buy from them. So it's really important to get this mix right and to understand what are the metrics that we really should be looking at, and how should we be getting out there to engage people so that you do attract the right people in who are the right buyers for your service or your product, as opposed to a generic audience of anyone who might be relating to you as a person. So let's talk about what the three biggest mistakes are that I see entrepreneurs making very, very commonly all the time. Is when they're really focused on getting more likes, more followers, more engagement, but not really thinking through on how does that translate into buyers. What is it that I'm wanting them to do once they have followed my page or once they like my content? How do I translate that into a buyer? And that's where we haven't gone deep enough on who it is that we're trying to attract. So the first mistake I see a lot of people making is being really focused on engagement. So they're putting out content that they think people will engage with, and it's usually when they've got quite a broad description of who their target audience is. They might think, you know, my target audience is women, and I know that they like whatever it is. Maybe it's cats, maybe it's funny memes about cats, and they found that when they share a meme about cats, they get lots of likes and comments, and so they tend to then share this content again and again and again and find lots of memes about it because it creates engagement and reach and buzz for their page. But it's just creating that buzz, which is buzz that happens in the moment, and then it's gone until you share your next cat meme, which people might find funny and interesting. Like, gosh, I can sit there and get lost in ridiculous memes for a good hour if I go searching for them, and I can look at them and have a good giggle. But that doesn't mean I'm sitting there buying anything, or that fun and, you know, that emotion I'm feeling when I'm looking at that content, that's not necessarily engaging me with that business account. I may not even remember who it was that posted it, because I'm actually much more interested in just the content. So it's funny, it's made me certainly engage with that content. I might have liked the post, I might have even shared it with my friends. That doesn't turn me into a buyer. So that's, I guess, the first mistake, is really focusing on content that creates buzz and reach, and really thinking that is the end game, because it's not. That's just the start game. So if you can do that to content that turns those people into buyers, fantastic. That is really what you should be aiming for. Don't go for something that just creates that buzz, but that's where it ends. The next mistake I see people make is sharing content that people can relate to, but that's not actually relevant to their business. So what I see here are lots of stories, vulnerabilities. Like everybody says, be vulnerable, share yourself, share what's happening with you. Really open up and be the real you. What this means though is what we're seeing a lot of people taking that quite literally and sharing what's happening right now, right when they're in the mess of what they're going through. They are in a place where they're actually sharing something, and it's almost like a cry for help, reaching out, sharing something so that they get some support or some form of therapy from their social media audience, where people might respond and say, hey, you're doing a great job, or you're so strong, you can get through this, or backing you 100%. Maybe they're having a bit of a whinge about something that's going on. But what this is instead of creating a profile of you as a leader or somebody who they can look up to and they want to buy from, you're actually creating a personal connection, yes, but those people feel sorry for you. You're being the victim. You're sharing airing the dirty laundry, I guess, so to speak. Now, being real doesn't mean that you have to air your dirty laundry. You can be real and authentic and a genuine person without sharing every single thing. But what I would take is one step further than that. Wait until you've been through the experience. Wait until you've come out of the mess and you're out the other end and you're looking back on it with clarity and with vision, and you can see what the mess was, and you can relive and feel all those emotions so that you can share what it was like going through it so people can relate to it, but that you can also share the lesson in that experience. And that lesson is the value. That's what people will take away, and that lesson is the most important thing in it, because it creates not only that connection, the relevance and the relatability that you've got by sharing that story, but it's also then putting you in a place where you're being a leader, where you're showing your value, you are leading everybody else, and you're really demonstrating your worth as who you are. And obviously these stories need to connect into your business. So if you're sharing a story about something that you went through, maybe it was a really personal moment, who knows what it was. Maybe it was going through a divorce, and you're like, yes, my audience will really connect with me on this level because I've got all these things to share with them that they will love and they'll connect with. That's great, but it's only a relevant story for you to share if you can relate it through to your business. So if the lesson that you learned from that experience then has a relatable link to your business, then that is a really good story to share. It's not necessarily a great story to share if it just stops and ends with, this is your story of what happened in your life. I really think that for content to bring in the right people into your audience, which of course is what we're aiming for, people who are going to end up buying from you, it's that the value is in the lesson. It's in what you got out of it, what your insight is, and how that's helped you now today in what you're doing, and how that's going to help them as well. The third mistake that I see people make is actually almost the dead opposite of that. So by having nothing that they're sharing, no stories, nothing relatable at all, and purely basing it on educational how-to content, and thinking that that's going to turn them into a leader and someone who people will follow. We're really missing, you might get know, like, and trust through sharing the educational content, but people buy from people. They don't buy from machines. So, really want you to think about that and think, well, if you're really just focusing on that how-to, you're missing a whole nother section of your content that can create stronger bonds, better trust, so much more value, I guess, in your brand, by also sharing a bit more about you as human beings, because people trust people so much more than they just trust a business. if it's just on educational how-to, it's very easy for somebody else to do the same thing. They may not deliver it in the same way as you for sure, but when you're really only focusing on that how-to, then you're creating something that's very easily consumable, but you want to be definitely adding in some of that relatable content. Relatable and relevant. So we want to get that really nice combination of all three to create the sort of connections with the right people who will turn into buyers. So those are the three biggest mistakes that I see people making out there, where they're really focused on audience build. They might be growing an audience and just wondering why it's not translating into sales. It's because of these mistakes, but it's actually what is stemming underneath all of this. So those mistakes are because they haven't actually gone deep enough on who it is in the first place that we're really trying to attract. Who is the right buyer? Who is that person who is the right fit for your business? And it's not anybody who might want it. I love to tell a story where I get you to imagine that you've got a nail salon, for example, and yes, you do pedicures, but you don't want every single person who is walking past on the street to be coming in for a pedicure. I'm sure that if you just think about the different types of feet and different people's, the state of people's feet, you're probably quite specific about who you'd rather have come in versus who you'd rather not have come in. So it's exactly the same with your business. There are people who you would rather have in your audience and you would rather buy from you, as opposed to ones that you would rather not buy from you. And the way that you attract those right ones in is actually by doing the work to get really specific about who that is, and then learning how to connect with them through your stories. So if you're not sure on how to do that, this is why I have created a 3-day, very short and snappy 3-lesson training that I'm running live next week. So it's starting on Tuesday the 23rd, going to Thursday the 25th of February. And I'm running this live training in my Facebook group. So all you need to do to join me is register. You register on my website at jessicaosborne.com/free-training, and I'll pop the link to it below this video for you as well. But you can jump on there, register. It's absolutely free. But I'm going to take you through 3 lessons over 3 days so that you can really define who it is that is what's your difference out there in the market to everybody else who does what you do. What is it about you and your style and what you deliver that makes you different? So how are you going to stand out? Then who is that right fit for you? Because when we really get down to it, there is a right fit, there is a wrong fit, and you'd much rather be attracting people who are the right fit so that you can get people into your audience. And by the way, if even building an audience is something that you're struggling with, then this is absolutely going to help you, because it will help you get through that roadblock of not even being able to attract people into audience in the first place. Then the 3rd day, we're going to get into actually how you create these stories so that they become stories that people connect with and that they want to listen to more, and that they get the lesson out of it that you want them to get. So that's really selling your services without you needing to do any pure selling, which is great. That's really what we want to be happening, is a whole lot of organic marketing that's bringing the right people in. So that's what's happening. I'm running that next week. It's 100% free. All you need to do is register so you get on the list and get my workbooks and get the reminders about when it's happening. And obviously replay links. If you're not able to catch it live, then you will be able to catch a replay. However, when I do run it live, I'm going to be doing live coaching on the actual lesson. So I'll go through the content. I'm going to be taking lots of questions from the floor from all of you guys so that I can help you right then and there. And I'll also be doing a bit of a live coaching thread afterwards, so that even if you miss the live training, you can still jump onto the coaching thread and get some more direct coaching from me. So that's happening next week. If you missed the URL before, I will drop it here below the video. It's jessicaosborne.com/free-training. and that will get you to the registration page so that you can get into this live training that I'm running. It's really going to be really short and snappy, just 3 lessons, 1 per day, so over 3 days. Gives you a bit of brain space in between to think about what we've learnt. There'll be one thing each day that will help you to really turn the key from being somebody who's either attracting the wrong people or struggling to attract anyone at all into being able to attract the right people into your audience. And that obviously gives you your baseline of who you're going to sell to. We all know that we need people there in order to be able to sell your services. They don't just come out of the woodwork when you want them to. It is about, you know, building that audience of prospective buyers so that you've got somebody to market to or to share your content with. And that's really what it's all about. So thank you so much for joining me today. It's been short and sweet, but as always, I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you've got. Just drop them below and I will respond to you. Okay. See you later. Bye.